All right. Welcome back to Tactical Pontoon, Work Harder Weekly. This is number 17. As you might notice, I am here by myself. Brandon is very busy. He's in the middle of his launch with the next generation comps and optics plates, so he wasn't able to make it this evening, which I can completely understand. When it comes to the manufacturing side of things, there's a lot of different parts and pieces that all have to come together and align just right. So I completely understand him not being able to make it this evening. But here we are. It'll just be me, and that's okay. We've we've done this before. I hope everybody's had a good weekend. It's Sunday, which means, of course, tomorrow we're back to the work week. I mean, for most people, with Tactical Pontoon, I'm pretty much 24/7. Built some triggers earlier, worked on the website a bit, and we have Dave, Desert Tactical Dave. Good to see you. Good evening, sir. Um, like I said, built a couple triggers. We've got some limited edition triggers that will be live in this coming week. We've got some really good ones already on the website. So if you're looking for something, the limited edition tab is on fire right now. I'm trying to work on the website to. There's a lot of different options because as time has gone on, there's definitely more frames available, different uh, platforms that I work on that are all kind of in the Glock sphere, but trying to make it easier for people to find things is not easy. Excuse me. I know the daggers that have come around, that's a it's almost like P80 at its height. Daggers have kind of taken that part of the market, if you will. So trying to make sure that they can find what they need is important, and making sure that everybody can find what they need is very important. And I'm struggling still to make all of that easier. But really, to boil it down to where I was going back to, limited editions. I'm going to try and keep all of the limited editions in the limited edition tab instead of sprinkling them out within, your various generations or your competition triggers and your drop-in triggers. My goal is pretty much to put all of the limited editions in the limited edition tab. So if you don't touch the limited edition tab, you're not going to see the cool stuff that's extra. So while that may make it easier for some, it might make it more difficult for others, but there's only so many different ways we can do it. So one of the main things that I do recommend is, if you already have not, go ahead and sign up to the newsletter so that when I do bring out a limited edition, you'll be notified of it. So anyways, that's kind of the business side of things I jumped into. How is everybody? Is everybody doing good? Things have been good here at Tactical Pontoon. Very busy. One of the things that we had planned, Brandon and I, for this week show was to kind of talk about what our thoughts were on the Wolverine and Deadpool movie. We're both massive geeks, and while this is normally more of a 2A centered show, it goes all the way around. But without him here this evening, really not. We'll talk about it next week. I plan on going and seeing it again. Angry Sarge, good to have you here, sir. I plan on going to see it again, and so this way we don't spoil it if anybody here hasn't had a chance to see it. I went and saw it early on Thursday, one of the first since Endgame that I have actually gotten tickets that early for. It's just been kind of a shit show ever since. But anyways, so Going to pass on the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff for this evening. That'll give you guys a chance to go see it if you haven't already. So I'll try to stick more towards the, Tactical Pontoon 2A stuff. I recommend going and see it. That kind of the quick and simple of that one. Go see it. We'll talk about it next week. Try to get some time off. I know it's difficult to get time off. Small business owner where it's a one-man show like myself, it is a 24/7 operation. If I'm not in here building triggers, it's answering emails and messages that come in. So I understand it's not always easy getting time off. So yeah. Hope everybody's doing good. I know it's been hot. It's been roasting here. Well, boiling here to be completely honest. The humidity here lately has just been insane. Granted, we have had some rain, which has cooled it off some. Of course, not today. Today it is back to full sun and full humidity. So you'll probably hear the fan in the background. You'll probably see a little bit of drippage from the bald head. While it is air conditioned in here, it doesn't quite keep up as well as it could. So there is that. Let's see what has been going on. I know I've heard some stuff on the YouTube side. I didn't watch. I've seen the video clip going around that even somebody like Linus Tech Tips has jumped on to talk about the basically YouTube going hard after gun channels again. Bald head drippage, I'll accept it. Also, if my internet falters, I do apologize. I think I need to replace the router extension that I have. It's been failing me here recently. Took Brandon's advice and didn't get a drop-in trigger for his AR. Went mil-spec with a flat face shoe. Good old polish job, and got a very nice 4-pound trigger. That's good. I'll tell you, a good polish job on a quality mil-spec trigger is in an AR. It works. It works really well. I've played with different cassette triggers. I've polished I've played with an AR trigger, but at the same time, it's not something that I'm going to offer, just because if you want a cassette style trigger, if you want a drop-in trigger for a competition rifle or something like that, there's just so many different options that it's not for me to compete on, and it's just not really where my heart is. I fell in love with Glocks. I mean, part of the reason why I haven't expanded a lot into other, and it shows, it looks like my connection is dog crap, and I apologize for that. Do apologize for the connection. Yeah. I apologize. Favorite C4 pre-workout, it would have to be, I'm not a big fan of the pre-workout. Hey, we have Steph in here. Good to see you here, Steph. When it comes to pre-workout, I'm not a big fan of C4 themselves, but for the standard energy drink, any of the Starburst flavors have pretty much been a favorite of mine. But I fell in love with Glocks. When I get into something, I tend to kind of obsess about it, I guess you could say. So if I don't fall in love with a platform and I'm not interested in it, I don't give it everything that I can. So that's probably why you will never see me do a Smith & Wesson like M&P trigger. I don't like the platform. I like the H&K VP9. I like pretty much any H&K that I've had, I've really liked, even though sometimes they're a little bit clunky. That's why the VP9, I still have the VP9 trigger available. CZP10, that is one I really liked, but there's just not been a market for it. So unless I fall in love with something, and I like ARs, I really do like ARs, but I didn't fall head and heels in love with them to the point where I had to make my mark with an AR. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Again, it shows the connection is terrible. I apologize if it's stuttering. I'm going to look into that. I've been very disappointed with my internet connection here lately. I don't know if it's something that I can really do or if it's something outside of my control. So I'm going to look into it. I must apologize if it's up and down. Well, we'll just have to live with it. Good on your end? Okay. Well, maybe it's lying to me. Maybe it's lying to me. I don't know. We're here and good to go. Okay. Well, it's showing me in the corner. There's a little bar in the corner that shows if I have it's supposedly bad connection. But of course, it's not stuttering. Sometimes it'll stutter when it has bad connection. I don't know. So I'm going to take your guys' advice and believe that we're good. We have Frekta here. Howdy, Frekta. Quite a name. So anyways, that's why I haven't jumped into a lot of other platforms. I'm not as involved with them as I love the Glock platform. I really do. And I'm pretty decent at it. Not a huge fan of the P80 platform. I don't miss the P80s from that standpoint. I did talk to one of my contacts who did work at P80, and we talked about this last week. The best at, well, I appreciate that. I do try. I have done triggers for other Glocks. I have done a few. I've messed with the Smith & Wesson. Not a fan. And right now, and that was before I was as busy as I am now. With my current workload, taking on anything else, and I get people that ask me quite a bit for a variety of different platforms, and right now, there's not a lot of room for me to really dive into them. It's a reason why I haven't bought a 2011. I'm sure if I bought a 2011, I would probably get into trouble with my time schedule and jumping into that. So right now we're going to stick to Glocks for now until I can free up some time and fall in love with something else, shall we say. But I was YouTube thing. It looks like they're going to start restricting what we can do on YouTube even farther than where we're at now. I'm sure Dave at Desert Tactical, I'm sure you're looking at that one. Jesse B Outdoors, he ran into an issue with a video that he did on one of my triggers. And they actually removed his video completely. So we'll see. Excuse me. A little bit of carbonation there. That definitely, it's not something that I rely on, to do Tactical Pontoon, but I would prefer not to have the channel taken down. I do enjoy doing these videos. I am very far behind on doing videos. I have several videos that I need to do for the channel, and different builds that we've put together. I've obviously put pictures up on Instagram and that sort of thing, but I do need to do some videos without getting the stream taken down. I'm going to try not to. I do have something we did a video on a while back. I'll try to keep it short so that it doesn't get caught. And doing things short is pretty much, as a short person, that's kind of all I can do. Do you remember the video on the 0 Delta 1 frame. I have this frame back. I sent it out to Curran Customs. And hey, what's up, Alex? And what's up, our dear t-shirt extraordinaire, Nordic Nevadan Stuart? Good to see you here. I sent it out to Curran Customs, and he did some awesome stipple work on it and sent it out to 405 Cerakote. And this thing is pretty sweet. I gotta say, this thing looks great. I will do a video on it when I have a chance to do so. It'll be a little bit, but I'll flash it just a little bit. Hopefully they won't take this video down. Instagram, you'll see I posted up a really good picture of it. I'm going to post up some more pictures. I've taken some, and it came out beautiful. Again, with the 0 Delta 1 frame, it's a neat frame. It is a neat frame, but I cannot say that it's one that I truly would recommend somebody. You know, it's one to have that's neat, but I'm not going to tell you to just run out and grab one. It's a neat frame, but there are other ones that are a bit better, especially if it's something that you're going to rely on. Nomad Defense, probably my overall top, aside from a factory Glock frame, or Grit Grips. They have definitely jumped up in the rankings. Daggers, you know, overall Daggers not a bad option. Their reliance on those roll pins for those rails, not really my favorite choice, but there's a lot of options out there. I will do a video on this one. It did come out really neat. There's something neat about the coating on this. Cerakote has a new rough texture coating, and it's very new. And they laid it down on this slide where it has grip serrations or grip. It's actually not. It's kind of a diamond grip. But anyways, they laid that, so the black on this is a grippy Cerakote. It's a new coating. It's really pretty neat. So I do need to, on my next picture that I upload on Instagram, I'll talk a little bit more about that. So it's pretty special. It's a 1 of 1. This is definitely a 1 of 1 0-1 Delta frame. So, or 0 Delta 1 frame. Putting the Peacemaker shoe on for your SCT SC. All right. I like the SCT 43 SC frame. I do like that frame. In a way, I think I like it more than the Micro Dagger. And I think it comes down to, for me, the mag release. The one thing that I have noticed with the Micro Dagger, and tell me if anybody else has run into this, is sometimes the mag release catches a little bit or almost seems to want to come out of place. Now, I've not contacted PSA about this, and maybe it's something with my with my Micro Dagger, but it's something that I did notice. Maybe somebody else has noticed it as well. But again, the Micro Dagger, I really like that frame compared to the Dagger frame, just because it does have the molded in rails. It does seem to be a higher quality frame, but I did notice that with my Micro Dagger mag release. So just something I noticed. But I will have, I do want to do a video on this. I have a lot of videos that I need to catch up on. It's kind of sad how long it has been since I've done a video for YouTube. Must apologize for that, but it gets busy. Still catching up. The one thing I do want to bring up about catching up is, if you do order a black trigger in like the next couple weeks, most likely it will be a Gunco SS trigger versus my Peacemaker trigger, just to keep the flow going. We ran out of Peacemakers currently on the machine. They're at the Gunco. They're building more Peacemakers. We're a bit behind, but to keep orders going out, they will be Gunco SS. But like I said, they're basically the same trigger aside from the width of the face and just a little bit of detailing. There was no sense messing with something that was already that good. So if you feel like when you get one and you don't like the Gunco SS logo or Gunco logo on there, get with me. There will be a slight delay, but I can get you taken care of and get the shoe replaced with mine once the new ones come in. So, but overall, it's basically the same. I also have, and they're not on the website currently, the gray Gunco SSs. I've got some here, and I also have some FDE Gunco SSs here. So I can do FDE in gray, something that I have not done yet in the Peacemaker shoes. But I do want to I'm going to bring back FDE very soon in mine with this next grouping. So, Stuart, problem with dagger, say it ain't so. I'm gonna probably the biggest problem with the dagger are new owners, new Glock owners, more than anything else. Overall, the dagger package is a pretty comprehensive. They did a good job overall. Now, are there some nitpicks here and there? I would say yes. But overall, the dagger's not a bad, especially when you tally up the overall cost of one of those. It's not bad. Same thing with the tights. Okay. Well, it's something I'm not going to make a big deal of. I do want to. I'll talk to PSA. Maybe there's something that I'm missing on that. Dave, as for Charles, no, I have not heard back after the initial, or after his saying he's going to stomp a mud hole in me. You do have to remember, I did give that trigger away. It came into the shop. It was fine. I actually upgraded it to have an over travel stop, and we gave that away on Instagram. I've not heard back from him. Also gave away a t-shirt and some stickers as well. The Charles. Yeah, that was a fun one. I did what I could. It was very hard to understand him at times, but I really did my best to try to take care of him, and he didn't want it, so we gave the trigger away. It's good. It's a good time. We got some good jokes on Instagram. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Alex, we'll talk offline on that. I have two micro dagger frames here. The first one, I thought maybe it was because I did have it stippled, laser stippled, and I thought maybe the heat had messed with tolerances a little bit, because that can happen. Obviously, mine was done by somebody who's a professional, who does a very good job to make sure that does, stuff like that doesn't happen. When a gun gets stippled and Cerakoted, a good company, a good place, make sure that they put a magazine in place with tape around it, because Cerakote has to be heated. When you're stippling a grip, it does get heated from whether it's a laser beam or a stipple iron. So to make sure that the grip maintains its size, you put a magazine in there. Normally they'll wrap a couple layers of tape just so that it because if you just put the magazine in there without any tape or any extra layers, it can squeeze down to where all you have is room for that magazine itself. And while your magazine may fit, it will drag. So that's the reason why you want a good place that knows what they're doing. I have seen places that did not do that, and when you get your gun back, you're looking at issues with dropping your magazine. So that was my initial thought, was maybe that's what I was running into, but I did have another micro frame that did the same thing. So I'll look into more. I'll look more into that as time goes on. I'm sure PSA has something up their sleeve to fix that, or otherwise. Can't say for sure. But that would probably be my only reason for saying SCT over that. The threads on the RMR cut on the Dagger 19 slide I picked up were sloppy. Really? Okay. The two frame, or the two slides I have that are Dagger slides, my threads were pretty good. I think they actually build those in-house. PSA has a pretty good machine, facilities on hand. So yeah, I've seen some from other companies that were pretty bad too. But again, when we look at the price for what they are, they beat everybody when it comes to price. It is a price. I just noticed that it says work harder eekly number 17. So I forgot the W in front of weekly. Anyways, price. They definitely push for price before anything else. That was one thing when I initially got into daggers in dagger groups. Tactical Pontoon has always been a premium brand. Before anything else, performance, fit and finish, and function are top of my list. And getting into some of the more budget entry level stuff, I had to really bring myself around to where that market is. And that's why when I brought out the Peacemaker lineup, I did everything I could to bring it to that area. I just eked that out. Yeah. Got the W. I didn't get the W this time. Looks like I got an L. I did get the L, but I did not get the W. That's why when I brought out the Peacemaker drop-in system, my goal was to do what I could to meet a price point, but not sacrifice function, fit, finish, aesthetics, the Tactical Pontoon name. Excuse me, what I stand for. So it was a fight. And then to further fall within that category, I came up with the tune-up kits so that I could bring the price down farther and still bring as much performance and fit and finish and everything that Tactical Pontoon is to that level. So at the end of the day, I still have to realize, I have to be true to myself. I have to be true to what Tactical Pontoon is, which is, a certain level. Is quality before anything else, not price. It is quality, whether it's performance, fit and finish, safety, obviously. All of that comes first before the pricing. So I have, and let's be honest, my face is everywhere out there when it comes to Tactical Pontoon, and I'm not going to sacrifice for pricing. So while I did come down to a drop in level, it's not because I sacrificed. I just did everything I could to bring the price down and keep performance as high as possible and balance it all. So anyways, that's my whole spiel, I guess, for that. Anyways, what else has been going on? Going back, circling back to the Peacemaker, or not Peacemaker, but P80. Yes, P80 is pretty much gone with what the state of Nevada, levied against them. There's no real way that they can operate in Nevada at this point. Everybody has been let go. P80 is basically ability that they could go on somewhere else. Maybe the little bit of information that I did get from my person who knows about P80 and that sort of thing, he said it's a possibility. Doesn't look real likely, but as it is, P80 right now is basically done. So we'll see. We will see. So Stuart, yes, P80's website is basically down and gone because P80 is pretty much no more. So it is what it is. Will there be other 80% firearms out there? There are a couple. There's still a couple out there right now. The chassis system. I did ask about the chassis system. I had forgotten about. Do you guys remember the chassis system that they rolled out? Kind of teased. I heard that it was not that great. I heard that the guy, my contact, he said he actually broke one, and he didn't go too much farther into it, but this is a guy who knows how to test things, and he has experience with it. And he said he kind of laughed it off. So it looks like that chassis system at this point is pretty much done and gone. Yeah. Because I didn't push him for a lot of information. I just let him give me what he was going to give me, and yeah, it's pretty much, they're pretty much done and gone. So yeah, P80 is pretty much done. So I think they're just selling out what inventory they did have. Pretty much went out to distributors like Delta Team Tactical and all 4 different places that they sell under. And when it's gone, it's gone. So any of the, I've seen different people talk about orders that they placed with P80 that never got shipped and all of that. It's they're pretty much out of luck at this point. Everything that's my little piece of information that I know, and as far as I know, I didn't dig for much. Just kind of brought it up a little bit when he actually reached out to me about a trigger. So yeah, that's what I know. They're pretty much done. P80 had a run. It was a heck of a run. With a lot of frames out there. A lot of misdrilled holes. Lots of misdrilled holes, which would mess with functionality. I learned a lot from troubleshooting those that has since, helped and probably made me lazy at this point when it comes to stuff that goes on with PSA daggers and with, the grit grip frames and just basic Glocks. It's pretty much made me lazy because some of the things that I saw from the P80 crowd, whether they did it in unintentionally by misdrilling holes and cobbling together things, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them, troubleshooting different trigger malfunctions. So yeah, heck of a deal. Heck of a deal. So P80s, they're pretty much out of here. Who knows? Who can carry the torch from here on out? So yeah. Does anybody have any interesting things that they want to bring up, or questions maybe they have? Again, normally Brandon's here. My initial idea, our idea for the show tonight, was we were going to talk about Wolverine and Deadpool. Heck of a movie. But I'm not going to talk about that till he is back, and that gives you guys a chance to go and see it before we geek out over it. I know he saw it. I have seen it. I do want to go see it again. Do I recommend it? I recommend you go and see it if you're into that. It's not going to make those movies great again from here on out. So, but it is a reminder of things that have passed. Well, Stuart, you need to go see it until next week, as in next week, as in this coming week, starting today / tomorrow, or the following week after. Because if that's the case, you will, unless Brandon cannot make it next week, you'll have to maybe skip out on this next show so we don't ruin anything for you. I wouldn't want to do that. Do go see it if you can. Probably next Sunday. Well, maybe you can see it and it'll be fresh before next stream. And if Brandon can't make it, I'll just invite you on, and we'll hold down the fort together. We'll see. But if you get a chance, definitely go and see it. It's fun. I don't want to go any farther. I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, it is what it is. I did get in the shop, and I have a mag extension on it, the ETS Omega magazine. And what that is their polymer magazine with a steel insert, steel lips. It's a magazine. It is a polymer magazine with a steel insert. I will let some other people really do some testing on it. ETS magazines, for myself, I've had overall good luck with them, at least the older ones. With brass, aluminum fed pretty well unless it was cold. Then I ran into issues. When it was cold, I would run into feeding issues with ETS magazines. I wanted to get one in the shop, take a look at it. It's probably something that would work overall pretty well for a range magazine. I don't foresee something that I would carry, and it looks good on Instagram. Again, I wanted to order in, take a look at it. It looks like a magazine. Overall, pretty decent parts. Not, it's another polymer magazine. Probably not. It's not as good as Glock. I do have, and I know Dave over at Desert Tactical, he looked at the CMC or CM Concepts mag bases for the micro mags. Keeps them from bowing out like the factory polymer does. I have a couple of those coming. I ordered some new micro magazines. Also wanted to check and see if they changed anything on them. They look the same as my older ones. But I've got a couple of those base plates coming. I think that with the micro magazine, in my opinion, without having run thousands of rounds through them, I feel like it's a better option than Shield magazine, but that's just me looking at it. I also ordered one of the CR920X magazines. Those are not compatible with a Glock 43X. They are just compatible with the CR920 and the CR920X. I wanted to take a look. It's actually a pretty solid looking magazine overall. I would say it's unfortunate that but again, I've also seen where CR920s and even the new X has had issues with feeding. I mean, it's hard to beat a high quality manufacturer's magazine that have been doing it for years. When Glock knows what they're doing. You've got on like the metal magazines. What's the company that does a lot of the metal magazines? They do them for Canix. They do them for SIG. Not SIG. I take that back. They do it for I believe it's CZ. Cannot remember the name offhand, but there is a main manufacturer of magazines that do metal magazines. I would love to see them jump in the fold and build one for the CR for the G43X. All right, well, good, Dave. I will catch you later. You stay safe, and if you ever need anything, you know how to reach me, and we'll catch you on the next one. But yeah, magazines. Again, I'm just kind of jumping. It's not what I initially intended this show to be. I was hoping Brandon would be here, kind of to reiterate why he's not here. They're in production on their Generation 3 comps and their new optics plates, and it's a lot of work. Manufacturing is not an easy thing. I have a manufacturing background. I am glad that I am not a manufacturer. Okay. I'm glad that I've found a very competent manufacturer in the Gunco. Mechgar. There it is, my man. There you go. Mechgar. They are Metal Magazine champions. I would love to see them do a G43X mag for extended capacity. Those guys, if they can't build a magazine for a G43X that's high capacity, 15 rounds, and works, then nobody can. So thank you, Mechgar magazines. Again, back to manufacturing. I'm glad I'm not a manufacturer. There's a lot that goes into it. There's supply, there's tooling, as in vices, grips, or clamps, the tools for cutting, all of the different cutters that go into manufacturing something. You might, let's say, for example, you look at one of these triggers and there might be 10 different tools, expendable tools, that go into making a trigger shoe. And these are expendable. After so many cuts, they get dull. They get undersized, so that the cuts that they do are undersized. So that's why there are machining tolerances, because when a tool is brand new, it will cut to size. As that tool wears down, you're going to get a 10 thousandths different. Excuse me, a 10 thousandths of a difference in that cut. That's why you have machining tolerances. There's a lot that goes into and expenses for those expendable tools. Then you have the actual machines themselves, the different whether it's a lathe or a mill. Those take work and maintenance. They're expensive for the initial buy-in. Manufacturing is a lot. So my hat's off. If I wore a hat off to Brandon, I know he's got a lot on his plate. So that is why he was not able to make it tonight. He's got a deadline and he's working very hard to take care of it. So manufacturing is a lot. My background is manufacturing when it comes to aviation. Ran a machine shop. It's a lot of work. That's why I can definitely appreciate what he's going through and what the Gunco does for me by building my trigger shoes. They do an excellent job. Finding them, it took me a long time to find a manufacturer that could keep up with me and could do the quality of work that I require. So my hat's off to high quality manufacturing. If you're a detail oriented person, a machining job is a lot of work, but there's money in machining. It can be thankless, but seeing people that have the ability to be a machinist, even manual machining is one thing, but even CNC machining now does take, we joke about it, we call them button pushers in the industry, but having somebody who can run that CNC mill is very important as well as people that do the programming, because if you don't have that button pusher there in front of the mill and something goes awry, it can tear up a lot of things very quickly. So you got to be able to hit that off button. But anyways, that's why Brandon's not here tonight and why I'm kind of holding it down relatively poorly by myself. Going back to what I talked about earlier, there's always good and bad. Yes, there are. I've worked with good ones. I've worked with bad ones. Normally it's the ones that tell you how good they are that are the bad ones. If they come off telling you how amazing they are, it's normally the complete opposite. I've run into some really good ones. I've run into some really bad ones as well. But running back, I've got some really cool limited edition triggers on the website right now, and there's some very limited ones that are coming in from Tommy Gun Stippling that are custom Cerakoted. They're very limited. I think there's like one or two of each, and they will, once they get in, I will get them posted on the website. But you got to see them. So keep an eye on the limited edition tab. I will, as soon as they go live, I will send out an email for people that are subscribed to the email. Yes, Chris, bragging is a disclaimer for shitty work. They will tell you how amazing they are, and then when something does go wrong, they will tell you why it's not their fault very well. Or they'll try to hide it. That's another one. Oh, I actually, from my previous job, I have I have some not washers, but they're like washers, but they're plugs for bushings that I don't know. I don't understand how this man could claim that he had all this experience as a machinist, because they're just all over the place. The sizes are all over the place. It was I had to let this guy go, and he couldn't understand why I was letting him go. And I'm like, man, everything I try to have you do turns out like shit. And I gave you many, anyways, bringing back some interesting conversations from a previous job. So manufacturing is very difficult. Machine shop work is very difficult. Having good guys and having a good machine shop is very important to any industry, really. So I can appreciate it. Oh my goodness, 20 years doing custom auto body. Yes. Whether it's painting or auto body repairs. Yes, I'm sure you've seen some stuff. I am not a painter. I respect painters. I have done some paint jobs, but it's not for me. So, and that's just a small part of it. Painting is this much of auto body. It's it's important, but all of the other things around it, the prep work and the repairs and sourcing of good parts and trim and so much. So I can appreciate that. I'm sure you've seen some stuff. Sure. Anyways, since it's just me and I pretty much did not have anything really planned other than what Brandon and I were going to talk about, I'm going to cut it off a bit short, and we will be back next week. Hopefully both him and we can talk about our geek stuff, and hopefully we'll have some other stuff to talk about. And yeah, so as it is, I'm going to jump off of here. I'm glad you guys were here to join me. It took a little bit of time out of the last part of your weekend to spend some time here, talk triggers, talk about a variety of different things. As always, you can get a hold of me at tactical. You can go to the website TacticalPontoon.com, where I have contact forms. My email is tacticalpontoon@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at tactical_pontoon, and you can shoot me a message there. I try to return everything. I try to keep ahead of messages. Sometimes messages don't get to me as quick as possible, and I know T.A. Griff up there shot me a message on Facebook, and I still need to get a hold of him. So I apologize that I haven't got back to you as soon as I could, especially after you gave me Mechgar as the answer I was looking for. So anyways, guys, I will catch you next time. Take it easy and try to be good. Later.